I just ate popcorn, so I really hope there's none stuck in my teeth. Yay. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie, welcome back to another video if that's been on our channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here, and today we are looking at more entitled parents. Oh yes, the parents who are just not that great at parenting, or who sometimes act like a little bit of a butt and are acting entitled, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. I already said that. Yeah, let's just get on with it before I waffle. Say hi to Blow Hi. Hi, Blow Hi. Is my dad entitled or am I sensitive? I have a thing about people being labelled as sensitive. It's something I see happening so much when other people are assholes. They just go, oh, you're just really sensitive. It's so difficult what to know to say around you because you're so sensitive. Or they're just like, oh, get over it. It was a joke. You're just being overly sensitive. I feel like it's such a loaded word. Yes, sometimes some people can be sensitive and more sensitive than we might expect, more sensitive than other people, but that doesn't mean that their reaction is wrong, and it doesn't excuse somebody from causing hurt. Whether the increased sensitivity is true or not, it's not an excuse. You still hurt someone, you still hurt their feelings, still done something that's not very nice, whether they've taken it more personally or they've struggled with it more than other people. Okay, that's something you have to deal with because you did a bad thing. In the context where people actually do something wrong, I'm talking about. So anyway, let's read on. I'm already like, I'm feeling entitled vibes from the use of the word sensitive, but we'll see what the situation was. Trying to determine if my dad is entitled or just an asshat. Sorry this is long. I love my dad, but he's pulled some I don't think it was malicious, but I don't know if it was controlling or what, so I thought I'd ask some random people on Reddit. What a great idea. Yes, that sounded really sarcastic. No, I genuinely think it's a great idea to step outside of your specific situation and specific circle of people to get an idea of a situation if you're not sure about it. With my dad, it was a lot of little things, like he always wanted to know where I was going. I don't mean out with people, I mean in the house. Huh? I've had to break myself of the habit of telling whoever is in the same room as me that I'm going to the bathroom or the kitchen whenever I'm leaving the room. That's bizarre. No, that is bizarre. What? I'd understand a parent for safety reasons wanting to know where their child was going, if they were going out with friends or something, just being like, hey, where are you off to tonight? Just so that I know where you're going to be at, just in case something goes wrong, blah. But in the house?
Excuse me, child, you must tell me when you go to the bathroom from the kitchen.
That's a little odd to me. One of the best phrases I came up with to describe my dad to others was that he is always right, especially when he's wrong. Ew. He'll get condescending when you argue, talk over you, and say the thing you just said like he just thought of it. Honestly, sounds exhausting. I appreciate different relationships, so I'm not here to say if someone should have a relationship with somebody or not, but that does sound incredibly tiring, and I do think there is a huge amount of entitlement from people who are like, I'm always right kind of vibe. He is entitled. He'd also get really weird about some things, like when the doctor told me I needed glasses, his first reaction was to belligerently ask if I failed the eye test on purpose. Can you fail an eye test on purpose? Clearly, I have had an eye test or two in my life. I wear glasses. And like, if it's not the right thing, you can't read the stuff. You need to be honest with them. But that's... Remind me that glasses were not sure a trendy fashion accessory, ignoring the fact that I've had astigmatism and that he, my mum, and both sets of grandparents wear glasses. That's like gatekeeping eyesight. Like, Jesus. I have astigmatism. It is important to wear the correct glasses. Then tells me I have to pick frames from the kids' rack. I was 14. I first got glasses when I was 15. They were not from the kids' rack, and I have a small head. Kids' glasses are for, like, little children. They're like teeny weeny little glasses. Got glasses, could see better, but got headaches because the frames are too small for my face and pinch my head all the way to my temple/corner of my eye. I point this out to my dad and he asks why I got ones that small. Excuse me. Excuse me. No apology, no memory of ordering me to pick from the kids' rack, no plan to get me new glasses. I know these are small things and not nearly as bad as some of the other stories on here, but they've stuck with me decades later. Wow. It sounds like this person's dad also never rectified the behaviour. If this is like, there feels like there's no resolution to that because it happened decades ago. I don't see sensitivity going on here. I see buttholiness from a parent. Like, why go from the kids rack? Was it a money thing so they would cheap her? Was it you're still a child, so therefore you must wear the kids' glasses even though they're not actually suitable for your age or the size you are? And it definitely sounds a bit like control-y as well, with like,
I must know where you are in the house.
I don't think that's sensitive. I think that the behavior from the dad is a little bit bizarre. Sorry, OP, that is a bit strange. It really sounds like there's been some odd behavior and uncomfortable behavior from the dad, and behavior that has caused hurt. It's such a tactic from certain types of people to just pass off all their wrongdoings as other people's faults. And a big way to do that is by calling someone sensitive or overly sensitive and just being like,
you're just sensitive. I've done nothing wrong. It's not me, it's you and your sensitivity. It's not me being an arsehole.
And often when that's the kind of language and excuses being used, it's somebody not owning up to their mistakes, and it is them being an arsehole or being controlling or just being mean or horrible in some kind of way and doing harm that they don't want to take responsibility for. And it's horrible because if you hear it enough times, like OP is now questioning if they are sensitive or not, because that's probably something they heard a lot. In my opinion, based on this information, no, they are not sensitive. Their dad is a butt. Ta-da. First story done. Let me know if you agree. Mum doesn't let me go to Halloween event because people she doesn't like are going to be there. She doesn't let you go to an event because people she doesn't like are going to be there. Firstly, that's bizarre because it's not like she has to be there or interact, I'm assuming, seeing as it's an event for the kid, not for the mum. Secondly, I've had to deal several times in my life going to events where there are people that I don't get on with and I don't like and that have directly caused harm to me. I have still gone because that feels like the mature thing to do. I think there are situations where you absolutely don't have to. I don't think you ever have to be in a situation where you're around people who make you feel uncomfortable or have caused you harm. But I think it's a bit bizarre for a parent to be like, I don't like these people. I need to find out why she doesn't like them. Let's read on. This was a bit of a hot mess, sorry. When I was in 3rd grade, the principal announced that there was going to be a huge party with games and events on Halloween and no homework. That sounds like a dream for like primary school kids. Just like, oh my God, a day of no school. We get to party and eat food.
Oh, yay.
Obviously, 9-year-old me would be very excited to go. Yes, what 9-year-old wouldn't be excited about this? My parents got my whole costume ready and everything. The day before the party started, I was at the McDonald's drive-thru with my mum when my mum got a call. After the call, she told me that school was cancelled because of weather. That school was cancelled because of weather. Why do I feel like that's not the case? But when you're 9, you'll believe anything your parents tell you, right? I didn't think much of this because I thought they would probably just postpone it since it was cancelled. The very next day during Halloween in the afternoon, I told my mum that the weather wasn't that bad. My mum told me that she actually didn't take me because she didn't want to see these women that were gossiping about her. Oh, turns out the call she did was fake just to make me think there was no weather. She had an ex-boyfriend that got married to one of the group of friends. Little me was obviously sad. Was that really necessary? That feels very high school behaviour from the mum. My mum told me not to tell my dad or friends or I'd be grounded. I just kept waiting until my dad took me trick-or-treating with my cousins. The next day during recess, my best friends asked me why I didn't go, and I just said it was for personal reasons. Oh, bless. I feel really sad for this kid. They told me about all the fun and games they had, which made me even angrier. I still remember all of this to this day. Stuff like that really sticks with kids. I understand that there are certain things that if the full truth of a situation was told to a child, they're not going to understand, or it's going to be a bit too advanced or inappropriate. Fair. This, though, this was the mum just being like, ugh.
There's some women who gossip about me, and I don't want to see them. So therefore, this thing that you 9-year-old are very excited about, I'm going to lie to you about why you can't go.
The relationship on that level that the mum has with other mums in the group, or like past feelings about an ex-partner now being with somebody else, which, you know, an ex-partner is perfectly entitled to move on and get married to somebody else. That is okay. It's really sad to see the mum punishing their child for a situation that the mum might feel a bit uncomfortable in. And like, surely it was just dropping them off to school because she didn't want to see these women that were gossiping about her. I mean, gossiping's not nice if we take that on face value and the women weren't being nice about OP's mum. That's not pleasant. But should your child be punished in that situation? No. And should you lie to your child like that and like do this whole fake phone call? I really don't think that's a good way to build trust between you and your child. It's not something I would personally do. If I had a bit of beef with some other parents at my kid's school, I'm not going to let that interfere with my child's opportunities and experiences. That's not my lane to get in. I am an adult and I need to deal with the adult situation separately from what my child is doing and my child's enjoyment and opportunities in life and at school and with their friends and everything. And it seems like small cheese, right? Like, oh, a 9-year-old missed one party at school and they're still sad about it all these years later. But it's like the principle of it is potentially like the first time that OP realized that parents aren't perfect, and also some parents can be really, really far from perfect. I mean, nobody is perfect, but there's a difference between making mistakes sometimes and then doing things that actively cause hurt and upset to people when it was completely unnecessary. The lying, that's gonna stick with you, that your mum lied to you and made it such an elaborate lie about something that was only to benefit her, from something that doesn't even sound that big a deal and should have been dealt with as the mum between the other mums, leaving the kids out of it and letting them get on with their own thing. It's a little bizarre. Maybe like OP's dad could have taken them to the event, or another person if the mum really didn't want to deal with it. But it absolutely, so many steps should have been taken first before making a child miss out on something like that. I just feel like it would break down trust. How can I trust anything that you're saying to me now, mother? Bad. Yes, entitled parent thinking that their feelings and not wanting to interact with people who they're not keen on comes above their child being honest to their child and their child having the same opportunities and experiences as other kids and doing something they're excited about. That's really sad. Normal for a parent to set a bedtime at 24 years old. I'm going to instantly say no. No, little bit bizarre, but let's read the specific circumstances. Recently, my mother has been setting bed curfews for me to go to bed at 11 p.m. That also feels quite early. I'm a night owl though. I'm like a 2-3 a.m. go to bedder, so 11 p.m. is like afternoon for me. I thought it was because I was making noise. However, I've come to realize that even if I'm not making any noise at all, watching Netflix with headphones on, not even touching my keyboard, she will come into my room and have an argument with me saying I've woken her up. If I responded by saying I've made literally no noise, she always says, well, there's light under your door, so you're still awake. However, it's not consistent. She's a light sleeper, so a cat or animal making a noise outside will wake her up, but she decides to come to my room and blame it on me. That's really strange. So like, you're just chilling, minding your own business. I'm assuming like both bedroom doors are shut, and from when friends stay over at our house, or like I've stayed at other people's houses and it's on the same corridor and like the lights on, you can't see it. You can see like the little slit of light under the door in the corridor if you go out into the corridor. It's an impossibly small amount of light to be able to wake somebody up from within their own bedroom. That doesn't make sense to me. And if you're not making any noise, I feel like that would be the only situation where it's appropriate to instill a bedtime for an adult. I get that they live under your roof, but that would be being respectful of how you want to live in the house as well. So not making excessive noise, not like coming in and out of the house at late times, not bringing people over that you weren't happy with, that kind of thing, right? That you didn't feel were appropriate, right? But being quiet, contained in their own room, not disturbing you, why does the mum feel like that just feels like the mum in her head still has a small child living at home with her and wants to have that control. I'm not sure if this is a control thing, but I'm wondering if anyone else has had a similar experience. I personally have not had a similar experience. I have heard of some people moving home after they've moved out. They move away for like uni, or they move in with a partner and then they move back home after a certain amount of time, and their parents struggle to not like slip straight back into treating them like a child and like, you know, saying what they should eat and where they should go and all of this stuff, like treating them as if they were a 10-year-old again. I feel like being like, no, you must be in bed by 11 p.m. to an adult who is being very respectful of your house and the noise levels in the house and any disturbance they may create is very odd. I don't know if it's a control thing. It's really hard to determine the motives behind that, but if it's literally there is no actual disturbance happening to the mum's sleep, it does feel a little bit controlly, or making the kid not want to live at home anymore. There is an edit. Should have stated this before, but I lived by myself for 3 years doing college. I've only moved back in with my mother for around 1 year now due to financial reasons, and I'm planning to move out again with friends. Also, for some added info, I do pay rent and have a part-time job. I just think it's bizarre then. Either your mum is like going about it in all the wrong ways to try and encourage you to move out sooner, or she feels like she has a right to carry on controlling your routine in your life as if you were a child, which is not appropriate when someone is 24 years old, has been to college, has a job, is doing all of these things. Like, they might be your kid, but they are not a child anymore, so can't be treated like one. This is like a string of just, yes, the entitled parents. Bizarre behavior. We've had lying, we've had control, we've had just bizarre demands in the first one. I'm still thinking about those glasses. Why would you do that? Mother goes against daughter's wishes when it comes to her new grandchild. I feel like this is always awkward. I feel like there's a certain type of mother who, when they become a grandma, or any kind of parent, when they become a grandparent, there's a certain type of person who feels very much entitled to tell their child how to parent and to parent on behalf of their child. And that's like when grandparents really need to be told, like, it's time to step back. If something dangerous is happening, sure, step in. If you think that some advice would be just a little bit helpful occasionally, okay, offer some advice, especially if it's asked for. But to like properly go against specified wishes or attempt to be the parent in any way, no. I'm a 27-year-old female. My sister is about 29. About 29. Ever since our mother, 58, got remarried a few years ago, we've had a complicated relationship ever since. Okay, so is this like to do with the partner that's caused the complications? That's not fun. It came to a point where my sister and brother-in-law went completely no contact due to our mother's behaviour. Before and after she got married, our mother wanted to bring our family together by using some unhealthy methods. After some research, me and my sister realised she had been gaslighting and manipulating us. Gaslighters and manipulators, no, just horrible behaviour. Like, it really, really impacts people. There's so much unlearning that people need to do if they've been around gaslighters and manipulators for long enough, and it's horrible to learn that that's what's been happening to you, and it's horrible to, if it's an ongoing thing, to have to keep reminding yourself you're being gaslit here, like, you know. So I can see why there was no contact happening. Because of our mother's behaviour towards us, we went into counselling and have gotten better with setting up boundaries with our mum, but this isn't exactly the end of this whole thing. Okay. I mean, boundaries are a good thing to set. I'm not saying that people can never change at all, but I think it's more people can grow. I don't think people can fully change, which is quite sad. But therapy, great. Did the mum agree with the therapy? Is it like family therapy? Because I think that's a really good thing. Therapy, yes. Big fan. Last year, my sister had her first child. Congratulations. This was when she and my brother-in-law were still no contact. They made an exception for her to come and see the baby since it was her grandchild. However, her husband wasn't permitted. Fair. You are well within your right to say who and who does not have contact with you and with your child. 1, because my sister didn't want him there, and 2, because there could be a limited number of people in the room. When my mother learned her new hubby couldn't see the baby, she got really offended and said that he had the right to see his grandchild. It sounds like the new husband is not the two sisters' dad, and I know that doesn't always prevent them from taking a fatherly role or being the father or the grandfather, but it does not sound like this is what's happening in this situation, if the problems did start when the mother got married to this man. For some context, our father died suddenly back in 2016, so we didn't see anyone else as the baby's grandfather. Okay, cool, that's stated, like the new husband is not viewed as grandfather. Anyways, months later, my mum and my sister are beginning to patch things up with our mother, or with each other, I'd assume, but there's still a bit of uneasiness about the whole situation. Our mum once told us that we didn't have to have a relationship with her new husband, and that he wasn't replacing her dad, and that he couldn't replace our father as the baby's grandfather. Oh, she said the right thing at some point. However, our mother, being our mother, has completely done the opposite. Oh dear. Oh no, we don't like this. First of all, she refers to her hubby as the baby's grandfather against my sister's wishes, even coming up with a grandpa name. Am I alone in just not enjoying the word hubby. I just don't know. It doesn't sit right. I respect it if you want to use that word. I have a thing with that word. Not a fan. No, but you do you. That's fine. The mother should not do her and should not be coming up with a grandpa nickname for this guy that her daughter has clearly told her is not the grandfather of her child. It sounds like there's more beef between the sisters and the stepfather than... Well, what, he's not even referred to as a stepfather. OP just refers to him as mum's husband. Maybe they don't even like have that kind of relationship with him, so like clearly there's a precedent for the sisters not being very close to this man for whatever reason. Sounds like there's tension for sure. Anyway, so the mum comes up with a grandpa name. Bizarre. This makes my sister feel uncomfortable. Can see why. With me, she talks to me like a child, telling me to say hello to her hubby and make eye contact when he's in the room. What? Hi. And then just stare at each other right into the eyeballs. Hello, I've been told to stare at your eyeballs. How does this feel? It's not great for me either. It's a bit bizarre. She's also asked us on multiple occasions to accept her new hubby into the family. I know this sounds ridiculous and mean, but we just don't like him, and we don't like the way our mother has acted when he came into our lives. Our mother's behaviour changed dramatically when he started dating her. He brings out a narcissistic side we never knew she had. Okay, yeah, that's not nice. I can totally see why. This is not like a typical kids acting out when parent gets remarried and like rejecting the new person, the new partner for no reason, but just because they're new. That is not what's going on here. They've seen a complete shift in their mum's behaviour and have described her as having narcissistic tendencies, gaslighting and manipulating. That is not a healthy relationship to have. It's a very difficult relationship to maintain. That's very like a walking on eggshells at all time kind of relationship that is stressful and emotionally draining. And I wouldn't blame anyone for going minimal to no contact with somebody in their life who is like that. It's absolutely the advice I would give. It's absolutely the advice I would take. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just saying, like, if I were asked to advise, I would absolutely be like, if somebody is gaslighting you and being manipulative, I'd get as far away as possible. So I can see why they have a very clear reason to not feel comfortable with this new husband, because he is the one that's brought out this behavior in their mother. Probably also displays it himself if you're seeing it in the mother. He could be the instigator of it and like performing those behaviors and treating the mother like that, and then she is in turn learning those behaviors and using those behaviors on the kids because that's how she's being treated. But either way, like, if you are not comfortable with somebody, if somebody is not treating you with respect, if somebody is being manipulative towards you, you have every right to not have contact with them. You have every right to have as minimal contact with them as you want. You have every right to say that they are not a father to you, that they are not a grandfather to your child, and that you do not want them to have an influence in your child's life. I would absolutely do the same thing. A gaslighty new person in life, or a gaslighty person, will have no to very minimal contact with not just me but my children, particularly my children. I don't blame OP. I don't blame OP's sister. And I think it's really hard. There's clearly a feeling of wanting to go no contact because the sister and her husband did that for a while. But through therapy and things have got better. They kind of repaired something, but maybe the arrival of a grandchild and the mother's new behaviors around this new child have brought about more feelings of like, oh, well, this isn't great, is it? So yeah, for me, I'd be like at least no contact with the new husband, if not the mother as well. But it's easier said than done. It's a very, very tricky thing to do. But for sure, this is big entitlement. No, we don't like this type of behavior from the mother and the new husband, not OP. Final one for today. I witnessed entitled mother getting
destroyed.
Oh my god. Maybe we're ending on like a happier note. I was traveling in my city metro. It wasn't that much crowded at the time, but all the seats were occupied. Still, you could freely stand without being humped by a stranger. I've never ever heard it written that way. Love it. My least favorite thing is I nearly had a panic on the tube a couple weeks ago because it was so packed, and I just like Sharba and I just got in the doors and the doors shut and I had to stand like this, and like Sharba was like here and then there were strangers here, and I was like, and I could not move. I couldn't stand up straight, and my heart started racing, and every single stop I was like, I need to get off. Okay. And it opened on the other side and I could not even see the doors opening. I just heard them. And I was like, I gotta get off this train. Fortunately, we were only on for 3 stops, so like, I did it. There was this kid sitting in the reserved seats, the ones for people with handicaps, pregnant women, and old people, definitely not for mums of 2-year-olds. Okay, he was probably 14 or 15, I don't know. He is the hero of the story here. Right, what's gonna happen? Then at one stop, our entitled mother comes in. She has this cute little child who is trying to keep up with his mum's pace. Entitled mother instantly sees our hero sitting at the reserved seat and just stares at him. Why does she think she's entitled to that seat? I guess, well, her entitlement thinks. I guess this was her way to make people automatically give away their seats or something. That's just intimidation, like, not even kind of going up and being like, we don't know if you're aware, but this is the seat you're in. And this is, you know, I have a reason for sitting in this seat. I've reserved this seat, or I don't know, I'm pregnant or something. Like, have a reason. The kid didn't move though. This probably irked entitled mother a lot, I guess, because she moved towards the kid with heavy steps. This is like a kind of drama horror story. She comes near him, stops, and again does the stare. The kid doesn't budge. But what kind of like behavior is that? What kind of example is that to set? That even if you thought that the kid didn't have an entitlement to sit in the seat, why would you not approach with communication and friendliness in the first instance, explaining why you required that seat and having a conversation about it, rather than thinking that staring somebody down and walking towards them was the right way to go about this? Then she starts screaming. Well, there comes the communication. If she didn't have the whole compartment's attention earlier, she had it now. She starts berating the kid for sitting in a reserved seat and not giving it for someone more deserving, like a mother like herself with a young kid. I don't know what her logic was. The seats aren't reserved for them anyways. She just keeps shouting and screaming and tries to get others' opinion on it, and for a while people were on her side. But like, maybe neither of them should have the seats and they should both just leave it clear for somebody to sit down. Or maybe there is something going on that the entitled mother is not aware of. Maybe there's something going on with the entitled mother that she's not expressing. It's just like, not everything is visible, but certainly the way that the entitled mother has gone about this is inappropriate. You don't just stare people down and then scream at them because they can't read your mind. Then the kid, out of nowhere, rolls right side of his jeans up and detaches the artificial leg and keeps it in front of entitled mother. Okay. The look on her face was priceless. It looked like she was mortified and embarrassed at the same time. She just backed away silently and got off at the next stop. I don't think that was her stop. It's like if people have a go at others coming out of the disabled toilets. Not everything is visible. You don't know somebody's story. That's why we need to communicate about this. The kid may not have required that seat. Clearly he did, but he may not have required that seat. But screaming and staring down is still not the right approach, especially because you have no idea. You have no idea what somebody else is going through in life, why they are in that position, what's going on with them, what their situation is. You don't know until you talk. If that's the only seat available and you have a reason to require that seat, you can express that. You can express a need for a seat on a train. But there is a way to do that politely and where you're not acting like a great big massive butthole. I'm sure if the mother had gone on and required that seat and there was a conversation where the kid was like, me too, somebody else could have given up their seat on the train. But no, she just decided to scream and then get off the train embarrassed, as she should feel. Wow. Entitlement is very unattractive, as is like arrogance. Well, that's it for this episode of Entitled Parents. What did we think? Did we like that? Did you agree with my judgments of the circumstances? I mean, I'm not going to be right on everything. It's just my personal opinions based on my life experiences and people I've had in my life and things I've seen. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if this is the kind of video you want to see again, and think about giving a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.